It is currently, let me point something out to you. It's May 11th, 2024. It's 12:50 p.m. I want to document, this is what I suspected, and this is what I already knew. But again, I refrain from speaking on conclusively because I understand for purposes of prosecution, which is my purpose, that's my end objective. So anything that I cannot conclusively demonstrate, especially while I'm speaking about it, it doesn't mean that it's not true. But because I may not have it to show it at that time when I'm speaking on it, I just refrain from speaking on it. But what I'm about to show you right now is relevant to exactly what happened as I was documenting third-party group stalker Universal Waste Systems Incorporated. This was the demon that was stalking while I was inside of my bedroom. This was at nightfall, early in the morning, and this is terrifying conduct. You've got a stalker and they're engaging in the demonic behavioral pattern. The ordinary target individual's mindset is who I'm speaking to, okay? And you're aware of the fact that you're being targeted in some way, even though you don't know what it is, nor can you identify the fact that a demon is targeting you through the creation of audible activity with simultaneity to what you're doing, okay? Whether or not you know them, whether or not they're looking at you, whether or not they're engaging in some other thing, such as coming and emptying the trash. But the ordinary target individual does nonetheless have a gumption. You've got a gut instinct that you're being targeted in some way, but this is a stranger. You don't have the ability to necessarily describe how you know that, what it is that makes you, this is relevant to what is psychological torture. This is exactly what demons intend to do. This is relevant to the behavior of keeping their back to you while they're targeting you through their behavior. All right. I just want to speak to, this is what I was documenting. I'm trying to see if I have that video documentation on my video so we can look at it together, but I don't think I do. Today's the 11th. Yes, I do have it on here. Okay. So this is what I'm referencing. All right, so this was the pattern.
This is amplified audible activity, relevant positioning, and light activity. This is third.
And what I spoke to about while I was documenting this pattern of conduct, when I woke up, this third-party group stalker, this is the state of California, the people of the state. This is a demon that's coming onto the crime scene and engaging in state surveillance via emptying the trash, where all the elements of monitoring are underway. And what I spoke to, if you'll recall my documentation, when I then documented the absence of the inability to operate my internet, before I got up and recorded this video of Universal Waste in the parking lot, my television was on, my internet was active. And that's exactly what I spoke to.
Okay, what this third party is continuously doing is...
This is exactly what I spoke to. Oh, I'm not
right. And literally
in this video, I'm documenting the fact that that demon was creating audible activity as I operated my communication device. I documented the fact that I could not operate my internet. Nope, not this one. Hold on. I captured the fact that I could not operate my internet moments after I recorded video, began documenting.
Okay, so I want to document what is, again, the psychotic behavior and the targeting conduct of, and it's going to be attributed to Universal Waste, as they will be monsters. And it is in a torment and...
Not this video. This is real-time documentation, so bear with me. I'm looking through the evidence as I go through it with you, okay? So that's what this is. I have the, this is the 9th, May 17th. I'm looking at my communication device. I'm in operation of, oh, I know where it is. I take different types of video. Okay, so this is what I recorded. This was the email I was referencing, Spectrum.
I want to show you what is the ongoing criminal. They can send whatever email they want. Understand, Spectrum represents the state. The specific environment is what supersedes the government that's keeping you under surveillance through the people of the state. And that specific environment is what is going to trump any and everything, every representation of the entity that is maliciously keeping you under surveillance.
Okay, so what I did not state, which is exactly what I knew, so now I have the evidence to show you what it is that I'm going to state right now. This email was sent. What's the purpose of the email that you see the timestamp at 4:10 a.m.? This is to suggest the fact that even before I'm documenting video of group stalking by Universal Waste at approximately 5:17 in the morning, that beforehand, Spectrum send an email. Remember, every time I'm referencing a name or a company name, I'm referencing the people of the state. I'm referencing the state of California. So do not be confused because I'm using the name Spectrum. Spectrum is not acting independently. Spectrum represents the state that is engaging in the state's criminal system. Okay, so that I'm going to use the name Spectrum, but understand what that means. So Spectrum, I receive an email that is. And the timestamp is 4:10 in the morning, okay? And this is, again, before I captured video. Okay, so this is to presuppose, and this is what I know in my mind. The entity is monitoring. The entity is also monitoring on the video of the internet. And you're talking about the real-time control over your internet, the signal, the inability to operate it, your full full spectrum control. And what spectrum? That was funny. Anyway, the entity is engaging in what is controlling the internet also. So this is what I want to show. I received that email. That was 4:10 in the morning, and I believe this is it. At 4:10 in the morning, and I'm making a point. That's why I'm going through it with you. Yeah, this is the one I received at 4:10 in the morning, and I documented. And my point in that video was that regardless of sending a notice, you can send a notice. It's the pattern of conduct, and that's why you have the same exact specific environment. And while the entity is still engaging in the criminal system, it's also revealing what are not genuine malfunctions, what are not genuine failures, and the ability of the state to literally replicate that same scenario, which is exactly what Spectrum did yesterday. While they are talking about a downline, a fiber optic, some sort of failure of some fiber something. I don't speak internet, okay? But what I do is I prosecute, and you can use facts and evidence to demonstrate. I don't have to specialize in internet service provision in order to do that. What they did is they have an email that's sent before I captured this video. So because I did not have evidence of the fact that they sent an email to me after I captured video of group stalking via Universal Waste at 517, so in other words, chronologically speaking, this email talking about a service failure occurred before I captured video, which is not necessary in order to establish the P.O.C. But I'm just going to give you, I can concede so much, and I'm still showing you what is beyond a reasonable doubt, group stalking. So the entity is sending an email, and because that happened chronologically, I didn't speak on it, okay? But what I want to let you know is what I have evidence of today. So regardless of the entity sent an email, and it came before, it preceded my capture of video of group stalking in the morning. At 5:17 in the morning. And then I spoke to the fact that as soon as I captured, my internet was working before I captured video. And this was 5 o'clock in the morning, internet working fine. Okay. The moment I capture video of group stalking, immediately the internet goes out. Spectrum is a third party. And so because I'm looking at the timestamp, the internet, even though I noticed that the internet went out after I captured video, I saw in my email chain the fact that they sent an email before I captured that video. That's why I did not speak to that, if you're following me. Okay. So what I'm looking at today, and this is what I already knew, but I didn't have it to prove in that video. So that's why I refrained from speaking on it. I want to show you what it is that I already knew the other day. They sent an email with the timestamp of 4:10 to suggest that they sent that email speaking to what was going to be an anticipated failure before I captured video, even though my internet was working while they were during this supposed time frame. Okay. My internet was still in service. So anyway, what they have today, I want you to look at this. I checked my email today, and you're going to look at these timestamps. It says 18 hours. 18 hours ago at 7:23 p.m. I went through, I checked all of these. You're going to look at the timestamps over 17 hours ago, and these are all the emails that were present. There was no email from Spectrum. And also the way that you know that, regardless of the fact that it shows, I'm going to show you the timestamp. This is real-time monitoring by a government, a corrupt government, using third-party companies such as Spectrum, who are capable of making up any information to establish whatever it is that they want to establish in order to fit into whatever narrative that needs to be created. And I want to be clear, they can do that. It is not relevant. Legally speaking, it is not relevant. It is in no way contradicting or speaking to superseding the pattern of conduct. When you're a corrupt government and you're monitoring and contact with the people of the state, including internet service providers who are also documenting group stalking in relevant position, by the way, yes, you're fully capable of creating information and suggesting the fact that there's some sort of failure. And that's why I can't access my Wi-Fi, which is a threat to my life. I want to be clear. There is no legally relevant grounds to engage in both group stalking and then stating, oh, well, the target individual can't access internet because the internet service provider, who was also a documented group stalker, had a genuine failure. And that's why that threat to their life is okay. All right, they're not liable for that. No, that's not how that goes. That's not how that analysis is going to go. The state remains the criminal at all times. But what I even want to go further and show you, this is real-time control. So you have 2:14 in the morning that this email was supposedly sent. But it did not generate when I checked my email this morning. And you can see that because 17 hours ago, these are the emails from Vaughn's, which are generated. And then you're looking at a time frame that says 11 hours ago, but it was not generated. I just want to show you this. And it's showing up after. If it was 11 hours ago, then it should have showed up when I checked my email this morning. So you have the ability. In other words, what I'm telling you, the same government that is monitoring and contact with the people, that's exercising real-time control over the internet. And let me show you what I mean. The real-time control over my communication device. This is this is internet controlled. I have a mask on my face, so I'm going to get off the camera. You have real-time control of the television. My television is a communication device. It's controlled by the internet. Using my laptop where I'm watching a YouTube, it's very vividly illustrated because, like I pointed out yesterday, it's internet connection that's being interrupted. And this is going to implicate Spectrum, the third-party provider of internet, and also the people of the state and the state that are monitoring. In the same way on the venue of the internet, when you are encountering obstacles to create your Google Drive where you are engaging in a real-time federal investigation, the people of the state that are subject to this criminal system are in the position to initiate the federal investigation themselves. This is putting the power in their hands because their government has engaged in making itself the criminal. You cannot go to the courthouses, which are facilitating venues in the state. So you are publishing the evidence of the crime that you're subject to on the internet. Interruption of internet connection is a threat to your life. And by the way, where the entity is monitoring you, you don't have a genuine interruption of internet. This is not the case because they are surely obsessively monitoring you, using communication devices, interrupting your ability to access internet, interrupting your ability to operate your phone. But they are all engaged in what is ongoing ceaseless monitoring, which I documented on an ongoing basis. While I'm using, for example, my mobile hotspot as opposed to Wi-Fi. And I also want to show, this is what I was speaking to. So you have what I checked my email this morning. There was the absence of any Spectrum email. So you have what is suggesting that the email was there. It just didn't generate when all of my other emails from Vaughn's did, speaking to a timestamp that was 17 hours ago. I just want to make sure that I want to point this out to you. So this is speaking to what was sent at 2:14 in the morning. And when I checked it this morning, there was no email there. This is sent at what the timestamp is at 8:07 last night. So I just want to make sure that you're looking at this. This is speaking to what is the ongoing ability to exercise control over what it is that is even generating in your email. And email is just an example. Controlling internet, period. Controlling what it is that you're seeing, controlling what information that you have access to. I've demonstrated this before. I've documented this before, conducting a Google search. And because at the time I was doing research for my my civil case against the state of California for keeping me under surveillance. And I was conducting legal research. And based on what I Googled on Google, I did research on a subject on the internet, on Google. And what I witnessed was when I initially did it, so I got a lot of information on this particular subject. Now, after the state is now put on notice that I'm looking for this type of information, I conducted a search a second time for the same information, and it was substantially less. Okay, more information was removed from that Google search that I conducted. And so what I'm speaking to is, it's just an example of showing what it is that I have documented before. And this is an email that generated, but it was not originally there when I checked my emails way earlier this morning, which again, I don't have proof of because you're looking at my this is Yahoo. You're looking at my Yahoo emails that generated. But what is not showing is that it was sent. It says 2:14 in the morning. But if that's the case, then when I checked my email this morning, when I just checked it right now this afternoon, seeing the Spectrum email allegedly sent at 2:14 in the morning. But when I checked my email this morning, when I woke up at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, there was no generated email from Spectrum, and it just pops up in my feed, on my email feed. And so I want to point this out. It's nothing that I need to necessarily hone in and prove. I've established the pattern of conduct. I'm informing the masses that the entity that is engaging in this criminal system, the government that is engaging in what is criminal surveillance, and it's doing it with the people that surround you. The entity is engaging in what is monitoring federal stalking on the venue of the internet, and it includes the ability to literally remove or alter the information that you even have access to. Okay, and that's what is illustrated here. You have an email that should have popped up in my emails this morning. All my Vaughn's emails came through, but there was nothing from Spectrum, nothing from there. And in addition to that, the real-time control over the internet, where you have what is pursuant to the same demonic pattern of the internet connecting and disconnecting based on my physical movement and my operation of my communication device while I'm watching YouTube on my laptop and I'm on my phone on my banking website on my cell phone. So as I'm switching screens, for example, as I'm moving money around, every time I touch the screen, every time I advance to another screen, every time I switch apps, audible activity is following. This is monitoring. And this is occurring inside of the private space through an inanimate object on the venue of the internet through a communication device. It is Title 18 criminal conduct. It's also demonic activity. It is also the real-time control over the internet. So this is what I want to make people aware of. And a lot of times, not a lot of times, these big tech companies, Google, Amazon, these products that you're buying, and you're thinking, well, Alexa, what time is it right now?
The time is 1:05 p.m.
Okay, I want to be clear. That product is not only listening and, in other words, a means of monitoring you only when you're acknowledging it by name. Okay, these are the things that we look at as conveniences. They are used by the state to monitor you, to keep you under surveillance. Okay, so I just want to open your mind, and I wanted to document that because I had a vivid illustration of it here. This was an email that was purportedly sent at 2:14 in the morning. This is exactly what happened when I was documenting third-party group stalker Universal Waste on Friday. Now, my internet was perfectly fine. My internet was working. I had to turn my television down because it was working. And then after I capture that video, this is when I'm checking my email, and the timestamp suggests that, this has nothing to do with your documentation targeted individual. We sent this at 4:10 in the morning. Okay. But I want to be clear. This is exactly what an entity is capable of doing. And this is the real-time ability to control the internet, to make information. They do the same thing in the courts, by the way. They'll make up hearings. They'll make up information. They'll make up for example, an appointment that you had with a psychologist who diagnosed you with a disorder and is recommending that you remain in the facility and under this so-called X, Y, and Z medication. And the judge will not permit you to speak in court because you are an attorney, and they know when they hear you speak the words out of your mouth, it is in no way going to coincide with what they are establishing as the narrative in that court. While, by the way, you're there pursuant to criminal activity of the state that's stalking you through these police officers who have no legal jurisdiction. All right. And the sheriff's department, who are also engaging in what is violating your right, having no legal jurisdiction, literally keeping you there while you don't even have an arraignment. They're making it up. And if you had an arraignment in the same case where it's already been over a year, you don't have a right to bring a misdemeanor in that same case where you made up a DA's name in the first place. All right. And they're making up information just for purposes of kidnapping you, making up that narrative in order to kidnap you. I just want to give you a big picture analysis. This is the government that's engaging in this criminal system. And it includes the internet, the information that you have access to, even what you're looking at before your own eyes, and you're trusting, well, this is the time that this information was sent to me. That's not necessarily the truth, though. So in other words, what are you being made aware of? Because this is not to create some sort of sense of paranoia and like, oh my goodness, I can't trust anything, anywhere, that's not what this is for. This is just to make you cognizant of the fact that, first of all, you need to wake up. And second of all, that there is more going on than what you may be aware of. And so if you are aware of things such as public corruption, group stalking is a real thing. Okay, first of all, let's get that clear. And to engage in name calling when you are not a medical professional, calling someone a paranoid schizophrenic, which is what I have seen so often. And let me tell you who's saying that. The demon possessed entity. That's who's saying that. Okay, because I can take myself out of this position. I literally have. This is happening to me because I'm supposed to speak on behalf of another. That's why it's happening to me. Okay, so I can put myself in the shoes of the ordinary target individual, and it is actually inhumane, and it's not even logical to jump to that conclusion when somebody is alleging that they're being stalked, and that people are following them, and that the government and whatnot. Because I don't necessarily jump to that. Me personally, I don't. I'm somebody that will listen to the information. What is it that they're describing? I mean, if somebody sounds crazy, then they sound crazy, okay? And I don't mean to sound crazy, be politically incorrect or offensive, but in the vernacular, people just are dismissing. And I want to be clear, the people that are doing that, they're doing it in the face of what is substantial evidence. The P.O.C, you cannot just disregard that. The entity that's doing that, that's the pattern of conduct. It's designed to dismiss that person, literally write them off, no matter how weighty that evidence is. Okay. And in addition to that, being in this position and listening, well, I mean, nobody ever alleged it to me, but I'm saying being in this position. And if someone were to say, well, the police they kidnapped me and they made up information saying that I was crazy, and I'm not crazy because they came to my house last week and they came, my mom told them that I hit her, but I didn't hit her. And then they arrested me and they took me to the hospital and they were saying X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to assume that person is a paranoid schizophrenic just on the face of that. And you're not a medical professional such that you can even do that. And you have the people of the state, these same demons group stalking with this engineered light while the light source is over me. Those are the same demons getting on the internet. All they're doing is getting on the venue where they know where you're at. They're monitoring you, adding comments to your Facebook page and your Instagram page so that nobody will listen to you and write you off. This is a pattern of conduct by the state. That's also why you're going to prosecute. There's no random comments in your, and I documented this. I'm going to prosecute on the venues, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Many of them whose corporate headquarters are in the state of California as well. I've already documented the same entity that's group stalking a relevant position. All they do is hop on their cell phone where they know that you're on that website, adding comments to what it is you're documenting. The government will in every way cease to engage in this criminal system. It is criminal defamation on the venue of the internet where the target individual has established the prima facie case, anybody engaging in any type of defamation. I suggest you watch your mouth because it's going to be recognized under federal law that it's a violation to in any way impede on a federal investigation. And you're doing that when you want to make comments where you're publishing evidence. It's going to be made clear. It's going to be made manifest that you're not trying to share, oh, I'm eating over here. Look what I'm doing. Look at where I'm going like you're at Disneyland. It's going to be made clear on these venues where many of the people of the state are going to be able to expose the government that's monitoring them. This is how I'm advocating that you're going to publish and expose to the federal government where you're at and what they're doing to you because you cannot go into the courtrooms. They're monitoring and kidnapping and seeking to silence you. And where it is made clear, which on every website that I maintain, on every social media platform that I maintain, it was clear that I was not posting for funsies. It was clear that I was documenting criminal conduct that I was subject to. And then you had the people of the state adding on their commentary. That was the state. Let me be clear. It's not just third-party group stalkers. The state, these demon-possessed police departments, they're getting on social media as well. They're getting on Facebook as well where they're monitoring you. And those demons are engaging in that same system. Okay, these demons that are stalking in helicopters, they're pulling out their communication devices. They're looking at the website where I'm publishing the information. They're making comments as well. You're faced with the entity, third parties, and the state acting directly to monitor and criminally defame you on the internet. This is the comprehensive criminal system. And you're going to prosecute it on the internet. You're going to prosecute it while it's happening in relevant position to you, wherever you're at. Okay, so like I said, this is not to in any way incite fear. It's nothing to be fearful of. I'm in every way showing that it's something that, you don't have to be. I understand that the ordinary person would be. There are people that have taken their own lives and, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing because it bothers me that that's happened to people, and there's people right now that are sitting around kidnapped. They're caged up and people are putting drugs in their body because they're treating them like patients and they're being monitored. They're being monitored. They're being kidnapped and defamed. And so what I'm speaking to is this is a comprehensive system and the ability, even the information that you're looking at, I'm just saying to open your mind and do not rely on and just take as the truth what you're looking at. Okay, you can't do that. So you have to exercise independent thought. You have to wake up. Okay, anyway, it's currently 1:13 p.m. This is P.O.C.